All right. Great rise of lights, beloved. You know who this is, and you know what it is. Let me fix this here. It's Queen Goddess, the King Advocate, and it is Melanated Monday. So hopefully you all will come on in after your holiday celebration yesterday. For those of you who celebrated, I hope you had a wonderful time with your family and friends or whatever you have done, and that you are ready to get on back in here for the last Melanated Monday of the year. Um, the topic we're going to be discussing is most likely going to offend, and that's okay. If you want to call in and discuss your offense, you can do that. I will definitely open up the phone lines for you to share your thoughts, comments, questions, or ideas, whatever you want to vent it. We can do that tonight as well. What the topic is: pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. Okay, pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. I know the title itself is very it's gonna piss people off. It's gonna turn people off. It may not be folks that come in here at all tonight, and I have prepared myself for that as well. It may just be me talking to myself, and hopefully, eventually, you all will get out. You'll follow the directions and get out your feelings and come on back in and listen to the show. I'm not going to keep you long tonight. This is not God inspired. Okay. I usually tell you when I come on, whatever the topic is, I meditate on it first to see what it is I'm supposed to talk about, what's being given to me. This is not necessarily one of those. I'm not going to blame God for this. Okay. This is basically stemming from a conversation that I've had. And today I actually found that the same topic, part of it was being talked about on TikTok. Didn't know that. So we're going to chat. So hopefully you all will come on in. I'll give you a minute. I'm going to give a minute for people to come on in so we can hopefully have an intelligent conversation. If not, it will be exciting at least. It'll at least be exciting. It'll be interesting. And it will not be long. Okay. Um, but again, tonight's topic is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. Okay, it's not necessarily how it sounds, but it could be. Okay, so you all come on in, get yourself acclimated. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to share them. Again, I will open the phone line. If y'all show up, you can call in. If not, when you see it, it's posted and I will answer. Okay, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just get started. Y'all will come if you feel like it. Okay. So basically, like I said, the conversation that we're having tonight stemmed from a conversation that I had a few days ago. And I noticed today that it was also a topic on TikTok in dealing with tithing. So that will be a part of this conversation. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it is because it's not new. Like, this topic has been something that has been discussed, at least in the Black communities, forever. Okay, it's been a talk. We have these conversations amongst ourselves all the time, and for whatever reason, it's being brought up now, like it needs to be had again. Um, we have had a few pastors, very well-known pastors, who have gone live or have made videos, whatever, basically stating that, or reneging, I'll do that, reneging on some things that they have taught, and have asked people to discontinue watching those videos, discontinue listening to those lectures or whatever. Just stop it. D Mays, I saw you, loved one. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. They have asked people to forgive them for teaching false information, for leading them astray. And I commend them for doing that. We are in a time of awakening, and those who are looking to be awakened will be. Those who are looking to keep the eyes and minds of those who are trying to be awakened closed, y'all gonna get dealt with. Okay, so this tonight is particular types of individuals. So let's just get on into it. So I always start off with giving you some type of definition on what these words mean, right? So, I mean, generally speaking, we know what a pimp is. We know what it is. So I don't have to read a dictionary definition of it. But here's how I'll explain this couthly, and I know it's a made up word, as I can. So a pimp is normally referred to as a male, a man who uses his influence or his power, his control over women, um, uses them to solicit other people, which we know Johns is what they are referred to as, solicit other people for money, for services, and then to bring a portion of that money back to the pimp. What's going on, loved one? I see you. I appreciate you for being here. Um, so the pimp has employees, if you will. We'll be nice about it. He got employees that he hires, contracts out. Let's do that. He contracts I'm sorry. He contracts out these women to provide a service to other men. And once that service has been provided, that contractor, that woman, brings a portion of that money back to the pimp, right? The pimp in return provides certain things for the contractor. He may provide clothing for her. He may provide housing, any other type of material thing. He may provide the illusion of love, um, some type of confidence, whatever. He usually looks for people that are lacking something and gives them a way out, or promises them if they just trust him and just do what he says, that he is the end all be all. He will be able to give them whatever they need. They'll never need or want for anything. They just need to be obedient, basically, and do what they told. Just going out there, handle your business, get the money, bring it on back. Now you also have a quota now, okay? So when you go on out there like a salesman, you got a quota. I'm gonna need you to go out here and make at least $400. And if you don't make that $400, we're gonna have a conversation. Okay. Usually it ain't a verbal conversation. It ain't nice. Okay. This is, I don't want to say it's a stereotype on this activity, but come on. Y'all know. We know this is how this works. What's going on, family? I see you, Coral Beach. Thank you, love, for being here. I appreciate you. So that is the general definition, if you will, of pimp. Okay, the pimp. When you're dealing with the pastor, so again, just giving you some brief definitions of what we're talking about and the roles and what they're responsible for, whatever. So when you're talking about a pastor, first of all, the word pastor comes from a Latin word which means shepherd. Okay. It means shepherd as the noun, and as the verb, it means to eat. So let's keep that in mind. Pastor as a noun means shepherd. As a verb, it means to eat. So a shepherd is responsible clearly for his sheep, right? For his flock, for those things that follow him, that are looking to him or for guidance and protection and truth and wisdom and all that good stuff. These are just parts of the responsibilities of the pastor, is to make sure that the sheep, i.e. the congregation, the followers, are being given what they need in order to eat. What they will be eating would be truth, the word of the Most High, information, things that will sustain and give them life, right? They are responsible for leading leaders. They are responsible for um, spiritual cover, spiritual leadership, delivering messages of the Most High, which is delivering the truth. Let me do that. Delivering the truth according to the spirit of the Most High. Because you got some that I tell you, well, God said this, another, and God ain't said none of that. All right. So you got to be careful with that. Um, they are responsible for giving the truth. They are responsible for the lives of those people who trust them. They are ultimately um, watchers, watchmen. They are responsible to make sure that the people are given the information that they need in order to do what they need to do in order to be saved, if you will, or at least in order to make a decision with full disclosure, full information on what they need to do. Now, they can't make them do it, but they have a responsibility for giving that information. The prostitute, we know what a prostitute is, right? The prostitute is the woman or the women who exchange or engage in the sexual exchange with the Johns, the other customers or whatever. They get the money from them after their service or before whatever, and they take the money back. They give their no, they mind you, I've never been there, never been one. Okay, so they take the money back to the pimp, and I would assume the pimp would then just give them the portion that she wants them to have. Okay, I'm using the word in this case instead of it being a sexual thing. I'm just saying intercourse because intercourse it doesn't necessarily just have to be um, sexual. Okay, so it says to engage in intercourse for the purpose of usually, which is financial gain. The word intercourse basically just relates to an exchange. It's some type of commerce, and the word inter means between. So it's a commerce or exchange between two people. So it's going on between the prostitute and the John. Okay, that is the intercourse. Like I said, it doesn't always have to be. She receives a payment from the John and gives a portion back to the pimp. The pimp, I said, will give to her what he feels is fair, um, equitable, or just what she needs. He gotta pay her. She can't work for free, right? You got to give her something. So it does that, or he'll make sure that she also has her material things, um, whatever. Okay, yeah, no, we already know what's going on, Calvin. I see, loved one, appreciate you. So I said this is not going to be a long show necessarily because we know what pimps and prostitutes. We know about all this. We know what pastors are supposed to do. But here's a correlation. This is why I want to talk about it because how pimps work is the same way that these pastors work. Okay, and I know some pastors gonna maybe hear it, or some church folks gonna hear it and just be, Lord, have mercy on her soul. She, I already know. Do what you do. Yes, indeed, last Monday. But the operation is basically the same. It just appears differently, right? Because you don't have the prostitute going out, hanging around on the street corner trying to sell sexual favors or whatever. But what's happening is the pastor operates as the pimp, and I'm not saying all. Let me make this clear. But the pastor operates as the pimp because he is the one who holds the power. He is the one who holds the influence. He is the one who is capable of convincing these women to do things for the benefit of the church or the benefit of the event, whatever it is. He is the one who holds the power to influence the women to do something for the benefit of himself, the church, or an event. Let's just keep it real, right? And if you pay attention, most of the time when there is something going on, or there's an idea to have something going on in the church or whatnot, the pastor most likely and usually turns to a woman and says, or to the female board, to the sisterhood, whatever they are, okay, turns to the board and says, I need y'all to do blah, blah, blah. Or he'll ask the women in the congregation to make sure y'all do blah, 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 I need you to do, and we count on your sisters and blah, 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 because women have a certain type of influence anyway. We have the power of influence. So we're being put under the power of influence from a pastor to use our power of influence to go convince or influence somebody else to give or do something for the benefit of the pastor. Great rise, Miss Carla, Miss beautiful Carla. You, thank you for being here, love. I appreciate you. So it is one power influencing another power to go collect something from a perceived powerless to bring it back to the main power. What's going on, Wes? Thank you, love, for being here. I appreciate you. Okay, let me know if I lose you, because I don't want to lose you. I want you to see the comparison. Like I said, we've been having this conversation, this type of talk about this eons. Okay, it ain't new, but for whatever reason, it's being brought back up. Okay, so we need to address it. So again, in the church, it is probably 85% women in any church. So the pastor already has a pull power, right? He got a pull power because he can bring the women in to the church. And the women are coming in, they're coming in looking a certain kind of way, right? They're coming in with their big old hats on or whatever, and their little short skirts, and sit right in the front. We come in there to just be, humble and whatever. They coming in there dressed to impress, right? And they will sit right up in the front. They want to make sure that they are seen. They want to make sure that they heard. They hear a little thump on the ground, thank the Lord, and open up the floor, and they shouting and hallelujah in and whatever. Y'all know, because they want to be seen. Am I talking about everybody? I am not. For those that it relates to, they getting it tonight. Plain and simple. But I just want y'all to be aware of what's happening, what's been happening. So again, the women in the congregation basically operate as the prostitutes, if you will, to the pastor. Or maybe not all of them, but a great majority of them, because again, the women have a natural influence. So when you're talking about tithing, let's do that. Let's go there. We have always been taught that we are responsible, because God said to give up 10% of our income. It's got to go to the church. We got to. It's a sin if you don't. You're gonna get smacked around. You're gonna get everything taken from you. If you don't do this, you're gonna lose everything. You are supposed to absolutely give 10% of your income to the church. Now, if you don't make but 10% income, you're supposed to give it, right? We know people who have given up 10% or more of their income and suffering, have lost whatever, barely paying bills. They got hospital bills they got to pay. They not able to eat because they can't afford it, because they gave 10% of their money to the church. Lights and gas getting cut off or whatever. They coming in with raggy clothes because they can't afford to buy new clothes, or even just wash the ones that they have, because they feel obligated to give up that 10% in the pastor because they don't really have it, but you're supposed to, right? So we've been taught that this is what you got to do, because God said you got to do this. Okay, so relate this back to the prostitution. So the tithing is, pastor said, I need you to bring me 10% of what you make. Bring into this house 10% of what you make. Bring it here. The pimps say, I need you to make this quota and bring me back, or I'm gonna give you 10% of what you make. But I need you to go out and make that money and bring it back to me. And then I will give to you as I see fit, hence the pimp, right? The church says, you are already working, go work and bring me 10%, because that's what God said. I can only get 10% out. Now, if you want to give me a little bit more, that's on you. That's on you, but it's only required that you bring me 10%. If you want to do, a little bit more, Miss Jenkins, today, you go ahead and do that, because you looking mighty good too, Miss Jenkins. I see you over there, girl. I see you lost a little weight. I see a little shape, right? The influence, the power, I'm gonna give you something at this moment that you need, Miss Jenkins, that you ain't had. So I'm gonna get that extra 10% out you. But anyway, so when you're like, again, in dealing with tithing, and you're dealing with tithing relationship, it's so funny. Every time I'm talking about something, we want to have a technical difficulty. But anyway, when you're dealing with tithing and a person is in a relationship, and a woman is in a relationship, if she's married or whatever, we'll do it with married. And that's to say her husband does not attend church. He ain't that one. He ain't coming and ain't got no thought about it, right? She is maybe unable to convince him, to influence him enough to come into the church, or she has been so far up under the influence of the pastor that she don't really want him to physically attend, because her, oh, okay, because she's sitting in the front row, because she's trying to get the attention of the pastor, the pimp. She wants to be the main girl. She want to be seen. So she don't care if the husband come physically or not. But what she does need is for him to finance. She needs for him to participate financially. She is being used as the prostitute to the John, if you will, to go get his money. He ain't got to come in here. He ain't got to say nothing. He want to be a heathen and all. He can do that, but go get his money and bring that money back here. Bring it here. Tithe that money. Now, I know it's y'all's money. It's a household thing. It's supposed to be there. Y'all supposed to be in agreement with all of this right here. But Sister Jenkins, Sister Watkins, Sister Lulu, and all y'all, I need you to go and get this money from your husbands, from the men in your household. Go get it and bring it on back in here to me. Pardon me. Watkins and Sister Lulu being up under the influence of this pastor pimp, this power, the power, are in full agreement. We gonna go ahead and do that for you. You are my pastor. I choose you, baby. Come on, right? You is you the man. You the main. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to keep going through all that. You know what I'm saying, right? So now what's happening is the woman, the wife, has, in a way, and I know y'all don't want to hear this. I know you don't want to hear it or don't want to accept it, but she has, in a way, betrayed her husband, or her loyalty to her husband, her loyalty to her family, to her marriage, for that of the attention or whatever of the pimp pastor. Because she's going behind his back, taking money out of y'all's account or whatever, making sure this other man gets what he's asking for, because he says that God said you supposed to do this. So I want you to go ahead and get this money from this pimp. I'm sorry, from this John, because God said you supposed to do that and bring it to me, the pimp / pastor. And I know y'all don't want to hear that. I know it don't sound good. I know y'all trying to figure out a way that to make what I'm saying not truthful, or to make the fact that I'm saying it demonic or unrighteous in some type of way. Good luck with that. I don't come here and tell y'all stuff just for the sake of talking. I don't come on here and look for a whole bunch of viewers and likes, and I don't read the shirt. I don't care. I tell you what needs to be told. I give you what needs to be given to you in the way it needs to be given, so you will think. I've always told you I am a thought provoker. This type of behavior, these conversations that we haven't, this conversation that we're having tonight is something that we have been talking about amongst ourselves for eons. There is not a lot of difference, because you're not being given what you're supposed to be being given or from your provider, your pimp slash pastor. You're not being given what you need in order to eat, in order to survive, in order to have the necessary nutrients to make a decision on your own life. You're not being given that, because once you're given all of that, then you will be empowered and have the ability to walk away from your pimp slash pastor and either choose another one or choose to be by yourself. And a pimp slash pastor can't have that because they are funded by your ignorance. They are funded by the fact that you are lacking something. They are funded by the fact that you will turn your back on your household in order to appease this pastor in the name of God. They're funded. I remember years ago, I don't have any problem being transparent, but I remember years ago when I was in church and the pastor called out all the people who paid tithes. He requested those people to stand up so he could acknowledge them, and then made sure to say, now look around. All those people that's sitting down, look at them. He spoke down on the ones that didn't tithe. I was one of those ones. I didn't give a damn, okay? But it's just the fact that he called them out. He says, basically, the reason why I have what I have materially, the reason why I have the money that I have, what I make annually, is because of these people who are standing up. These people have financed my life. These people have made sure that I'm able to drive this $60,000, $70,000 car, that I'm making $80,000 tax free a year, that I have whatever. These people have done that. But let those same people go back to him and say, my light's getting turned off. That 10% that I gave you, I need that back. Like now. Right now. Let that happen. It don't happen. It's not a common occurrence. Let me say that. It is not a common occurrence for a person to be able to go to the church that they serve and service and say, I need some money so I can pay my bills. I don't need a loan because I can't pay you back, but I need my bills to be paid, or I'm about to be homeless, or I don't have a car, or I need some medication. I can't afford this medication. It's very rare that they can go back and ask for this money. And if they're given it, then it's clearly a loan and it might be some interest on it. Now, how godly is that? If you want to call in, feel free to do so. 770-90652, 71770-9065271. Again, this is the last Melanated Monday of 2022. And tonight's discussion is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. Okay. It was necessary to have this conversation. Apparently, it has come back around as a main topic. As I said earlier, I happened to come across a video about somebody talking about tithing, and how it's being misused, how it's being made to be an absolute mandatory thing that people are supposed to do. And if they don't do it, that they will suffer some type of consequence. What folks are not understanding, overstanding, or understanding, because the church is not telling you the truth about your tithing, is it don't have nothing to do with giving money to the church. It never did. Tithing was always based on giving. It was based on giving to the priesthood, because when you're dealing with the children of Israel, the Levites, which was the priesthood, they weren't not given anything. There was no portion of land. There was no, it was nothing like that. When things were being separated or, handed out or whatever, the Levites weren't given that. So the people, the other tribes or whatever, were tithing to them and tithing to other people, giving to those that needed it, restacking the storehouse, making sure that food was available for people who needed it. It had nothing to do with putting money in a church, because people will tell you, without your tithes, we can't maintain this building. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm sorry, you should have bought some better real estate. You got a nonprofit organization. You can clearly get some grants to fix up this building, or if you have a building fund, that's fine. That's allowable, right? It's acceptable, but you cannot use these tithings for a building fund. That's not what this is about. And you're not obligated to do so. The church has a bad habit of making people feel shamed for not doing it. You didn't pay your tithes this week, Sister Jenkins. You didn't pay your tithes. Everything all right? You be good? Do I need to come see you? Huh? Sound like pimp talk. Where my money at, girl? You good? You slacking up, because they'll call you out. You slacking up this month, Miss Jenkins. I didn't get that $400 this month from you. And you shan't get it next month either. But it needs to be made real clear on the expectation of your tithing that there isn't one. God, I ain't trying to speak for God, okay? But God, as we understand, God don't need your money. You don't have near address that you can send a money order to for God to receive. There is no bank account that you can go deposit this paper money into and payable to God. There is none of that. God don't need your paper money. So when you feel or being made to feel bad that you're not giving your hard-earned money up into or to a church, to the pastor for your tithings, God ain't thinking about that. Did you feed that homeless person down the street that everybody else kept walking over? That's a tithing. Did you help somebody out by volunteering your time? That's a tithing. Were you made available when somebody was shedding tears and they just needed somebody to talk to? That's a tithing, because you wanted to do that. You did that from your heart. You were moved from your heart to do that for someone. And God don't want you to give something out of being forced to do it. You're supposed to give from a free heart. A free heart. So somebody telling you got to do this every week, that ain't no free heart. That's an obligation. And if I'm being obligated to do this, to pay this, I need this back on my return. I don't know if y'all get tax returns when it got tithings on there, tithe and return. Is there some credit on it? I don't know. But you need to think about that. We are being tricked so much and continuously because people are not asking questions. People do not say anything. They're not asking the right questions, or any questions for that matter. We're used to just following traditions. We're used to just accepting what's been given. We constantly do what we've always done because that's what we've always done, and nobody has ever challenged it. What's going on, Kevin? Thank you for being here, loved one. I appreciate you. No one ever challenges what our traditions are. Nobody stops to think, did God really say that? Is God really expecting us to do this? Well, am I going to be damned if I don't do this? What if I'm not in a position to do that? What if I can't give you 10%? What if I only got $1, but I want to give you that dollar? Am I going to be damned for that? You're going to kick me out the church if I only give you $1 today? You might get $5 for the whole month. Is that a problem? We got to think. And most of the time, we need to stop thinking from our carnal mind, because the carnal mind is what's getting us caught up in all of this carnal shenanigans. Okay, we getting caught up in things that we shouldn't even be facing, or at least not still facing. We doing things that are completely contrary to what is expected of us as a people. We working back assward. because we're so used to holding on to the skirt, the skirts of and the coats of and whatever of other people, of other nations, of other cultures. We want to do what they do. We want to do as we're told by them. We know what we're supposed to be doing innately, but we ain't doing it. Again, if you want to call in and talk about this here, feel free. 770-906-5271. I guarantee somebody gonna reach out and it's gonna be a minor debate, and it's all good. I stand where I stand and I say what I said. So again, if you want to call 770-906-5271. The topic for tonight is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. I'm showing you how things work, how they have worked. And I made it clear that not all work the same way, not all function the same way, not all have the same intention. However, the majority operate the same way, be it by methodology is practiced, or that's just how they think it's supposed to go, tradition, whatever. We got to wake up, ask some questions. Okay, so again, the topic tonight is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. We discussed the definition of all. I ain't really have to do all that because y'all basically know, um, and having an understanding of the tithing, the 1/10 or 10% or whatever of your income being a obligation, something you're supposed to do. That ain't what it is. So let's see if we have any comments. Okay, no comments just yet. Again, if you want to call in, 'cause I'm not gonna keep y'all all night. This didn't have to be no all night show or no full hour. I said for the most part what needed to be said. Again, apparently this is a topic that is being brought back up. Things are being brought back to light because I saw it today that it's being talked about on TikTok or Facebook, whatever. A video was being posted having conversations about tithing and how a lot of these pastors are misleading the congregation. The pastors, again, operate as the shepherd. The shepherd is in charge of the sheep. The sheep are going to follow the shepherd because they trust the shepherd. They trust the leader. They are looking to be guided properly by the leader. So these shepherds, these pastors, are not causing the followers, the congregation, to be fed or led properly. So you have a lot of people that are falling off spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, financially, and physically because of the way they are being misled by the shepherd. It's going to be some real, recompense that's going to happen to these leaders who are misleading, and they're doing it deliberately. They're doing it out of arrogance. Again, I'm not talking about all, but for those who are, there's going to be some serious consequences on that tail. Serious consequences for misleading people that are literally and honestly looking for righteous guidance. They're looking for answers. They're looking for ways out. They want to save themselves. They want to be in the lineup, whatever it is, whatever their intent is, they are honestly looking for somebody to help them do that. And a lot of these pastors are taking advantage of that. I don't want to call it weakness necessarily, but the word is slipping my mind right now. But y'all know what I'm saying. They're taking advantage of it. Excuse me. And they're going to pay. They shall pay dearly. So my question to you is, where do you fall? Was that Jafaris? Where do you fall in this category? Do you fall in the category of a pimp, as a pastor, the sheep, the shepherd, the leader, or the prostitute? Are you the one that's being used by the pimp, the pastor? You being used to go out and either bring in money or bring in people, bring in some other type of resources for the benefit of them, and then you don't have full access to this? I had this conversation maybe a year ago. It was brought up. I don't know if it was done on here or not, but I know, yeah, because a gentleman called in with the question or with the comment with what I'm talking about, as far as being able to go back to the church and ask for help, or what is the church doing with the money that they're receiving? How does the community benefit from the money that is going into these churches? Why are people unable to take care of their regular everyday obligations? Why are they struggling? And you have a bunch of churches, that are in these, low income areas, people that need help, and they're unable to go to the church and get help. What's going on, family? I see you. Thank you for being here, loved one. I appreciate you. You have a lot of them that are doing that. You have people who are so they're just desperate, right? And they're going anywhere they can looking for help. And the one place that they believe that they can get this help, because it's smack dead in the middle of their community. And you got people, the prostitutes, going out into the community trying to bring them into the house, but they can't get no help. How that look? You in my neighborhood, you got your prostitutes, your hookers, your hoes, whatever, coming into my neighborhood, asking me to come into your facility, into your church, bring you $1 or $2 for a tithe or offering, whatever. But I'm telling you, that's all I got is $1 or $2. That's all I got. But I can't come to you and ask you and expect you to help me. I can't get food on a daily basis from you. I can't get counseling on a daily basis from you. I can't get some shelter on a daily basis from you. I can't get some resources on a daily basis. I can't get none of that unless I'm a member. Also, I got to be pimped out first before I can get some help. Is that what you're saying? I got to get pimped out first before I can get some help. Y'all not understanding. Like for the past 3-4 weeks, I've been talking about people's mental health. What's going on with people's mental health and what's going on around them in their circumstances, how people are looking for help. And then you have people that are taking advantage of their situation. They're taking advantage of people's mental states, of their inabilities to do certain things, to fend for themselves. And then you wonder why people are snapping on other folks in mass numbers. I don't mean 1 or 2, mass numbers. This is why people's feelings and emotions are being played with by those people who hold some type of power and authority. They're playing with them and still asking them or expecting these people to donate to their cause. But your cause ain't helping them get out of their situation at all. You said you were just talking about this exact thing. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If this is a conversation, then it is something that is going on massively, much more now. It's happening too much for this to be a conversation. And you just said you were just talking about it yesterday, and I just saw something about it today. It's a reason for this. We need to be paying attention. We need to be having these conversations, and we need to do something else about it. You said exploitation at its finest. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. It bugs me to death to see a lot of these pastors walking around here or driving around with these $100,000 cars and these suits that look like, well, they think they look like, thousands of dollars, but it came from K&G. But they look in a certain kind of way, and you have people in their congregation that got on flip-flops in 3-degree weather because that's all they got. They got on holy pants. They haven't been washed. They're ungroomed. Kids look a mess. Whatever. But you teed up. You going home to your $1 million mansion, your $100,000 car. Some of them ain't got airplanes. What? Right. You got an airplane and I can't get a bus pass. But you want me to come in here and bring $1 that I probably found, or somebody on the street dropped it or gave it to me, whatever. You want me to come in here and give you that, give you even a dime of it. So if I give you a dime from my dollar and I got 90 cents, I can't get nothing. But you telling me that I'm spiritually obligated to do so because God said, bring me 1/10 of your earnings. Ain't happening. And shame on them. Shame on these people for making it seem that you absolutely must give up your hard-earned money, no matter how it's going to affect your life. You must give up this 10% and give it to the church. That ain't what tithing is about. It's never been about that. Don't be fooled. Don't let these folks convince you to be living that that's what you have to do. God don't need no money. Trust that. Trust and know. Okay? God don't need your money. Ain't nothing, you ain't even got nowhere to deposit it. Who you gonna write it out to? What bank you gonna take it to? How you gonna know if God got it or not? The pastor gonna tell you? He got to intercede. He the trustee. Get out of here. Is this not gonna happen? It don't work that way. So this is what's going on regularly. This is the thing now. Too much. If you want to call in, 770-906-5271, or if you would like to be pulled on video purposely, just hit the little 2 people icon and I will pull you in if you want to be pulled in purposely. Hint, hint, family and ha. But nonetheless, do you all have any questions, comments, or concerns? Anything that I have not mentioned or that I did mention that you need me to go back over? Any questions I will definitely address, since this is the last Melanated Monday of 2022. Y'all know how I do. We talk about all the things that people try to avoid because they need to be talked about. They need to be addressed, and we need to be honest about them. This is one of those things. Again, tonight's topic is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. I know, again, that people will watch this video and instantly be pissed. I even put it in the description. Some of y'all gonna be pissed, and it's okay. Some of y'all gonna think that I'm working for Satan. Whatever. Think what you think, but pay attention. Okay, because I said what I said. And I meant every word. Okay. I'm here to give you the information. I'm here to give you what you need to eat spiritually. You cannot move effectively if you don't have full disclosure. If you don't have all the information that you need, you cannot move effectively. If I know something, if I'm being given something to share, that's what I'm going to do. Even if it costs me viewers, it costs me a disruption in the service, whatever. It don't matter. It is what it is. This is my tithing because I feel like it, because I want to. That ain't even a tithing. It's something I want to do. And been doing it for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. But again, if you want to call in, feel free to do so before we get off of here. 770-906-5271. Tonight's discussion is pimps, pastors, and prostitutes. We discussed the definitions of them, the roles, the jobs of each, how they affect the family, how it affects relationships when you're dealing with husband and wives, how the pastor basically uses the woman as the prostitute to get money from the John, who is the husband, to bring his or y'all's money back to him, back to the church. It's like you're cheating on him in front of him. I'm letting you know I'm going back to the church. And some of y'all go to church 15 times a day. Why? And every time you go, you taking more money. Come on, stop it. Just cut it out. I mean, pay attention. Just pay attention. Next time y'all go to church, look at the congregation and see what the percentage is of women to men and where the women sitting and who the pastor addressing, who he looking at. Pay attention. It's all very deliberate. It's all planned. It's all mapped out. There's a reason for this. He is very influential. He represents power, and women generally are drawn to power. Women like power. Women like the presence of power and authority in a man. That's a good look, right? So it's easy for a pastor to manipulate. It's easy for a pimp to manipulate. It's easy to draw that in because that's what women like. Girl, you better say that a nonprofit organization seeking profit. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is absolutely it. There should be no reason that a church in particular needs to ask the congregation for anything financial because they have access to grants simply because it's a nonprofit, because it's a religious organization. They got access to free money all the time. All the time. If people wish to donate, you need to understand you are donating your money to the pastor's salary, to the pastor's lifestyle. This is what you are paying for, is the lifestyle of your pastor. That's my pastor, the one you chose. Okay? That's your pimp. You chose him. And I'm saying him because most of the time the pastor is a man. Now, do you have female pastors? Yes, they would be considered madams. They don't get no pass. Okay. You said C103? Right. Okay. For the nonprofit. Yeah. There is ways to access that. So again, if you wish to continue to fund the lifestyle of your pimp / pastor, you have every right to do so, but you need to understand, overstand, and understand that is what you're doing. Okay. Again, this does not necessarily speak for all because there are some that are genuine. There are some who just may not know to that extent what's really happening. There are some who have not been awakened yet, but are seeking it, whatever. And for those, we'll have some mercy upon. Most High will have some mercy upon them. But those who are just outright doing it, misleading the sheep, misleading the people, you a watchman and you ain't telling them what's going on for real. You are not protecting them from yourself. You are the wolf in sheep's clothing. You are the wolf. They gonna get it. They gonna get it. All right, loves. Well, I think I have said all that needs to be said. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns before we get off, please share now because I'm going to make a left in about 3 minutes. Okay. I'm very grateful for those of you who come and come regularly. Even if you don't catch the lives, you come back and you get the information. And I hope that every time I go live that you are edified by the information that is shared. That's why I'm here. Like I said, I have no concern on how people feel about what's being said. No concern whatsoever. None. I don't come here to appease your feelings. In fact, I look for reasons to stomp your feelings, to crush them. Okay. Because I love you too much to care about your feelings. I got to give it to you the way it needs to be given. And I will continue to do that as long as the Most High calls me to do that. When the time is up, then it's up. When it's up, then it's up. All right. So if there are no more questions, comments, concerns, or no one wants to call in, I'm going to wrap this thing up by just telling you all to, stay safe, stay aware, start asking some questions. If things don't seem right, they don't feel right, they don't look right, then something ain't right. Go with that. Ask questions and don't stop asking until the answer is correct. You can ask a question and the answer you get is that ain't it. You keep asking. We got to be like children. When children be asking why, and you give them an answer and it's still why. They'll ask you why 1,000 times until they're satisfied with the answer. Be like that. It's okay. All right, loves. I don't know who's coming in now, but I'm going off. So please make sure that you just rewind this. You can catch it recorded again. But I do appreciate you for coming. I love you on purpose with purpose. Until I see you again. Peace. Peace.